This is a China girl from Film Leader from over 50 years ago. Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. And it's been a while since I put any videos together. As a matter of fact, for the past couple of weeks, I felt really ill, and today is the first day I'm actually starting to feel like a regular person again. It's been a struggle because I've been ill, but still gone to work. Have not missed work because of it, and every time I sleep, I feel a little bit re-energized, but get back to work again and start feeling ill again. Well, I'm finally starting to feel better and go back to work tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be back to normal. But and well, one um, one sign of normalcy is I'm doing a YouTube video, so that's a step in the right direction. What I'm talking about today is a follow up to a video I did 12 years ago on China girls, and somebody posted that picture of that little girl on the internet recently, and I think actually remember seeing that China girl on the tail leader of a film called Trigger Foods. It was a film probably produced by the American Dental Association. It was back in 1970s, and it's 1973 as a matter of fact. In Okinawa, a rep would come by the schools and would show two films, Flossing and Brushing and Trigger Foods. And this was one of the films that was showed in assembly. And I remember this particular film kind of had an unusual leader. It had more longer leader, more writing and everything on it. And I remember we were watching the film, and this was at an assembly, and it was set up at a table, and there were quite a few empty chairs. I remember the man that was running it was sitting quite a few chairs away, and I think he was kind of like in his own world. And now the film ended, and then the leader started rolling. You're seeing all the various words and everything on the screen, and the girl popped up. It was a little girl. I don't know if it was that particular one, but that is the only China girl I've ever seen on film of a little girl. So I don't know. I don't know for sure if it was that one or not. It's quite a stretch to try to remember exactly what the girl looked like. The only way I could really know is if I get a hold of the film Trigger Foods. And at this point, I'm not collecting films anymore. I'm, a matter of fact, trying to sell these films, get this collection out of here. I don't have any more projectors. I got rid of all of them. They were all broken and too expensive or too hard to find somebody to repair. So I was like, forget it at this point. I'm not going to fool with it. But I'm still trying to sell a film collection. It seems like these collectors seem to want films in perfect color condition, and well, good luck on finding an old film that's in perfect condition and color. I know there's some, but they're few and far between from what I've seen. Some of my films probably are in very good condition as far as color, but I'm not at the point now where I can really view them. I don't feel like pulling them out and looking at the frames to know for sure where they are or not. I hope I can just get some collector, just buy the whole collection and can just get it out of here. But anyway, from what I've read, the China girls were people that, for the most part, that worked in the film studio, secretaries, telephone operators. The technicians would get them to pose, and their skin tone helped measure color density. I don't know all the technicalities on how that how that made the film function or anything as a color film or anything like that. But that was basically what they were for. I remember the first time I saw a China Girl on a film that's called Alone in the Midst of the Land in 1972 in a school film. I was I thought to I was a kid and I thought to myself, why is that on there? And it, I was very curious. I remember, but it took years to really get any kind of information on these things. And matter of fact, it took all the way until the internet to really get some information on the China Girls. But apparently, there are some women have collected quite a few film clips of it and have looking to restore them. And I know there was a couple of them who were trying to actually see if anybody would come forward and they can get the identity of the women, but that's been pretty much not something that's happened. I imagine probably a lot of these people will not be identified. I did chat with a gentleman in the UK that did say that one of the China Girls was his mother, and his mother spent the whole day at a studio in England filming for just to be a China Girl in a film. I mean, a lot of people don't even know what China Girls are, and they didn't back in the day either. But basically, the only people who really would have known would be film technicians, film companies, projectionists that ran the films. They could see, especially the 35 millimeter. They could see it. They could see it on the on the print. But professional projectionists, you never saw those things on the screen. They if they loaded the film correctly, you'd go see a movie at a theater, or you didn't see any of that leader, the countdown, the number countdown, or anything like that. The China Girls, and even with school films, you have a person that really knew how to run the film. They would bypass all of that. And I used to run projectors in elementary school and beyond that, and I actually liked the leaders, so I would actually show it to the chagrin of some of the teachers, especially some of the male teachers. They would tell me it was wasting the projection lamp doing that. But I enjoyed seeing the number countdowns and everything. And occasionally you'd see a China Girl. They weren't on every film. It just they were. You saw them on some. Some of them, I would imagine, other people probably cut them off and collected them, and others they didn't splice them on in the first place. There was also in opposition to China Girls, there were color charts as well to measure color density that would be on the films. And this particular picture of this little girl it's got like a chart of like black and white. I don't know, black and white color chart next to her, to the right of her. Kind of interesting. But yeah, some of these China Girls, you would see a color chart next to her. But yeah, a lot of films just had like a color chart, and that was it. And today I'm actually talking off the cuff, not reading anything off the internet or anything, and just speaking from memory. And those are memories I have of the China Girls on films, and I think it's kind of an interesting subject, a very obscure subject, probably one of the more obscure subjects that I've ever discussed. But with that being said, I've run out of ideas on things to do on as far as YouTube shows about preserving history, especially obscure aspects of history, and looking for ideas. If it's feasible, something I can work with, I will base a show on it. I do not do political stuff. I don't want controversial stuff on my channel. But anyway, like, subscribe, share. As always, thanks for watching.